Amber, you want to do a mic check for me, dear?
You got me.
Loud and clear. All right, y'all. We're going to do another edition of shit happening right now in NASCAR. And we're going to go full face cam for this as well. Let's go here and face cam. So, me and Amber had a very lengthy discussion today about what happens, what will the fallout be of 2311 and Front Row Motorsports losing their charters. Because NASCAR said that they are going to sell their charters if they do not get the preliminary injunction granted that they are trying to get on Thursday, which is tomorrow. If you're watching this, it probably is Thursday. So, Amber, what were some of your questions that you asked when we talked about this earlier?
Well, my main one is Denny Hamlin, obviously an owner of 2311, actively racing in NASCAR. How is that not a conflict of interest with him? Actively racing on Sundays and also suing NASCAR. With most jobs, if you are suing the place you work for, you're not actively working for them at that same time.
So, I answered that with, well, he's not racing for 2311. He's raced for Joe Gibbs Racing. But I could definitely see how that could be a big conflict of interest, him racing at all in the NASCAR Cup Series. But it kind of is what it is. Do you want to lose one of your top talents who also happens to be a owner but does not drive for the team that he owns? Or do you want to keep your top talent, keep it interesting? And that does bring eyes to the sport.
It brings eyes to the sport, which kind of leads me to another thing that I didn't mention it today because I knew you were going to want to talk about this later. But going back to talking about the charters possibly being sold to Junior Motorsports, um, I did see something last night, an argument made that it's a bigger deal to have Michael Jordan in NASCAR in the Cup Series than to have Dale Jr. in the Cup Series. Their argument was, well, when you go places, you see stuff with Jordan's brand all over it. You see T-shirts, you see shoes, you see whatever the hell Jordan makes. Um, and he's involved in a lot of things, and I respect that. But the argument is he's a, I guess the way to put it is more well-known sports guy. So it brings new eyes to NASCAR because he is now a part of NASCAR, which I disagree with that. I'm a Jordan fan, have a lot of respect for Jordan, but I disagree with that argument.
So I will say, broader spectrum to bring new fans to the sport. I will say having Michael Jordan as a part of NASCAR does definitely bring more eyes to the sport. However, I think if you're trying to bring if you're trying to bring back the fans that you have run off over the years with all the bullshit that NASCAR's done, that they're kind of going back on now, who do you need in the Cup Series?
I would argue that you need Junior because you think a lot of people, you think NASCAR, you think Dale Jr. I think NASCAR, I think Earnhardt or Dale Jr. That's what I grew up knowing. And like I said, I have a lot of respect for Jordan. I'm a Carolina fan, so therefore I'm a fan of Michael Jordan. But I don't think that argument is valid because yes, it may bring some new eyes to the sport because Michael Jordan is involved, but he's an owner. He's not the face of the team. He's, in my opinion, a lot of just the money behind it.
I would totally agree with that. He has a lot of the money behind it. Um, However, I don't think that having Jordan in the sport is a fix all. I don't think having him as a part of the sport is going to bring new fans in and week out. It's not going to sell more tickets. Right, what we saw at not Darlington at Richmond was you have a lot of people there for the photo op. Most of your true fans might not be coming to the racetrack anymore. They might be watching from home. But going back to the initial topic of the conversation.
Sorry.
What will the fallout be if 2311 and Front Row lose their charters? I think a lot of that fallout's going to be who replaces them. It's not called Michael Jordan Racing, so it's easy to forget who's doing it. Correct, and
I agree with that.
I think that was done very, very on purpose. Um, I think it's fantastic that Michael Jordan's part of the sport. I think he's a world recognized figure, as he should be, the greatest basketball player of all time. However, I think it's more important to NASCAR from the fans' perspective to have Dale Earnhardt Jr., a Cup Series owner. There's no other way around that.
If he's even the one that they're gonna sell Chargers to,
It's a guy I race against like quite
we don't know.
often, and I'll note
I
people
was
that are gonna
talking.
do not make.
I don't remember whose Discord it was in today. I was talking about it, or I might have been texting Duffy about it. Who
was it? Who got you banned?
actually, it was on a TikTok that I posted in the comment sections.
Like,
So, out of all
like
the teams that are not in the Cup Series right now,
like Jeremy Lemmer.
how many of them have
He's not a
expressed
bad guy.
public interest in
Wrecked me
being
twice. Got
a
into it,
charter
but
owner in the Cup
he
Series?
reported me.
To
And
my knowledge, zero. I
when
could be
did have
wrong,
a mic.
but the fallout will be 2311 and Front Row shut their doors
Went to church that Sunday.
permanently. You're not coming. Let's say they have $75 million wrapped up in all three charters, and the only thing NASCAR is trying to sell right now is the four that they owned before buying the Stewart Haas charters at the end of last year.
Trying to. I try to do like
Those are floating. There's no. I've not heard a real answer on who owns those or anything right now.
did Daytona and a whole
So,
bunch of other dumb shit, ruined mine.
let's check. So, it's a whole lot of what if. But we really just don't even need to talk about it before we watch. I think that's weird.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But, anyways, another thing that I wanted to point out today, saw this on the Twitter. I'll bring it up right here. Shane Van Gisbergen is your Rookie of the Year.
Really?
First foreign-born driver to win Rookie of the Year since Juan Pablo Montoya in 2007. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I'm not. I like Shane. Shane's great, but I don't think Shane is an end-all, be-all for the sport. But I digress.
I do feel as though, and though he may be getting better, it's like oval racing.
He's really not good at oval racing.
I don't think that winning road courses is enough to make you Rookie of the Year.
Correct. And that is how I feel about the Richmond tire. The racing was so good. This right here is exactly how I feel about the Richmond tire. Look at it on your screen right now. Yep, that's how I feel about it. If there's any questions, concerns, let me know. But yep, that's me right there. Richmond tire and me.
Surprise, he's an undercover Swiftie.
Nope, never said that. Anyways, ooh, Ross Chastain's car for this weekend.
That's badass.
I haven't read much about all those situations because I didn't think we'd get this far. What does 23XI want NASCAR to give them? So it's not necessarily give them anything. It is an antitrust lawsuit basically saying, hey, NASCAR is a monopoly and they're not giving the teams what the teams deserve, is kind of the gist of it. Which, yeah, it's kind of what you signed up for.
To that, I will say, welcome to reality, because everything is for profit. And my example to you was, I work for my job. I produce lots of money for the firm that I work for. I get a small portion of that. It's simply just how the corporate world operates. NASCAR's no different.
Yep, I would totally agree with that. But it's kind of what you signed up for. But there's a reason. The main reason the other teams, especially the Hendrick and the Penske and the Gibbs, did not sign or did not join them in this lawsuit is because if their business fails, they shut their doors. That's part of it. Another thing I'd like to quickly point out. Chevy has absolutely dominated the Xfinity Series this year. 1 Ford win, 2 Toyota wins. The Ford win kind of shocked me.
Who was the Ford win?
Haas won with I don't even remember who their driver is. Pretty sure it's Sam Mayer. But yeah, 1 Ford win, 2 Toyota wins, 20 Chevrolet wins.
Love to see it.
Absolutely love to see it. Go Team
Love that for
Chevy.
them.
And this right here, folks, this is hysterical.
And what do you think of it if so?
The only reason I know what this is, or I've heard
Chase
of it, is
sexual.
because Bubba has said that to me before. And I don't know the meaning behind it, like some sort of a fan.
I mean,
club.
some of your fans are openly calling themselves that.
Okay,
They're just
that's
labeling
kind of what I
themselves that.
thought
Yeah.
based on the
Yeah.
context of how he said it. But that's okay. If that's how they want to roll. It's cool. Definitely not on my radar. But, I'm happy for him.
I have probably the
All right, that was very funny. I'm wearing a Chase Elliott shirt tonight, but I just think it's very funny.
Are you a Chase sexual?
I would not consider myself Chase sexual now. I mean, I think both things can be true. The same way I think other sports leagues monopoly in the U.S., but like you said, you know what you signed up for. Yeah, and the NASCAR business model is very different than, let's say, the NFL business model because they're making money on ticket sales and revenue. NASCAR kind of except for merchandise, because I'm pretty sure teams make a pretty good chunk on merchandise. NASCAR doesn't own these tracks. They're not making money on ticket sales. Teams are making money on ticket sales in the NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, whatever you want to think. But like I said, that's just simply, this is all opinion based speculation. There's no merit to any of this. There could be, maybe, who knows? But we will come back to this segment after this race. A lot more things to talk about, and I also want to go through and look at paint schemes for this upcoming weekend. But in the meantime, let's go racing. How about it, Amber? Do you want to finish our segment, dear?
Sure.
Let's finish our segment. All right, folks. So, let's finish our segment of shit happening in NASCAR. I'm going to change camera angles for this. So, we've got Chase Elliott here. This is a tweet from Steven. I'm going to fuck that up, but I'm going to follow this guy. He posts some NASCAR stuff. Chase Elliott was on Bobby Bones' show, told a story I hadn't heard before, said Dale Jr. deserves credit for him switching from the number 24 to the number 9 in his third cup here. Chase said that when Hendrick was reconstructing, Earnhardt told him to go speak up to Rick Hendrick about switching to number 9 since he knew that was the number he wanted to use. You need to speak up about this right now because you're probably not going to have another opportunity to do it. A deal was worked out by Hendrick to acquire the rights to the number 9 from Richard Petty, and it's been Elliott's ever since. Let's watch this.
Like in my case, when I came into Racing Cup, and I've been with Hendrick Motorsports throughout my whole career, Jeff Gordon was retiring, right? So I came in the next year. I was filling in, filling the spot, filling the open seat. So the 24 was the car that I stepped into for those first couple years. I had no tie to the 24 to the number 24 or anything, but that was what it was, and nobody asked, and obviously I was fine with anything at that point. Now later on down the road, I had an option, and 9 was my favorite number, and 9 had some family ties too, and made a lot of sense. So I got to switch. So most of the time, I would say it's more whatever team you're driving for. If they already have a number that's fielded or a number that's been around for a while, you typically kind of get assigned that number. It just kind of happened. The stars aligned up really perfect for me to end up with the 9 that I run now. But that's not I wouldn't say that happens very often, and I was kind of surprised that it even happened in my case. For me, in my case, the 9 was not being used. So
It's just floating out there. It's a free agent. That's a free agent number.
it was kind of a free agent number. It was owned by Petty Enterprises because Evernham turned into Gillette. George Gillette bought Evernham, and then Gillette turned into Petty Enterprises on down the road. So it kind of got passed down, and it got passed down so far that the 9 was not being used. So it was Casey Kane, and then it was Marcos Ambrose, and I'm not sure where it went after that. And then it kind of just disappeared for one reason or another. I don't exactly know why, but ended up not being used. And so, yeah, when we had some switch up at Hendrick, I think in 2018, was the year. And we were, it was actually Dale Jr. really deserves the credit for the number switch from my perspective, because he's like, hey, if you're going to make this change, which kind of, he knew I wanted to do it, but I never really said. He's like, hey, you need to speak up about this right now because you're probably not going to have another opportunity to do it. He knew there was some change coming. And yeah, so I kind of, thanks to his nudging, I reached out to the boss and was like, hey, what do you think about doing this? Or can we do this? Is this even possible? So somebody had a conversation with Richard Petty, and, he said, hey, you can have it. We're not using it. Totally yours. You have, family ties to this number, and it'd be really cool for you guys to, to take it if that's what you want to do. So the King let us have it, and we ran with it, which is really pretty neat the way it all worked out.
All right. What do we take away from this here? Number one,
NASCAR Jesus.
NasCourt Jesus. We would like to thank Dale Jr. for his contributions to the sport. Round of applause for Dale Jr., everybody. I'm a Chase Elliott fan in the sense of he is a legacy driver. Got the shirt on, using one of his koozies tonight. And in 2020, when I first really came back into watching NASCAR, I loved watching Chase Elliott because he was, I wouldn't necessarily say dominant, but he was fucking fast. And 2020 was a weird year. Really, really weird year for NASCAR because COVID, they cut out practice, cut out qualifying, and your car was only as good as it rolled off the trailer being. So I think that the 2020 year for Chase Elliott is an anomaly. That'll never happen again. His crew members, it was either tire changer or the jack man. His move on pit road at Martinsville saved his season. Put him to the championship for. If that dude didn't get a $100,000 bonus, I don't know another crew member deserving of one more. But I digress. Since then, you see a lot less Chase Elliott stuff. And even in this interview, and I was listening on my way home today, the Teardown with Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi. If you don't listen to it already, it's a fantastic podcast. They dive into and talk a lot, and they talk for 15 minutes or so with every single playoff driver. And I was listening to part one of that. They started off with Austin Cindric. I was about halfway through Chase Elliott. And Chase Elliott, I don't think he loves being a race car driver right now. I really don't. I hate to say it, hate to see it, but I really don't think Chase Elliott loves being a race car driver. Amber, how do you feel about that statement?
I'm not gonna say I don't think he loves being a race car driver. I just don't think that he is with his personality. I just don't think. Mm, I don't think he gives a shit about the media side of NASCAR. I think he just wants to get in his car, drive well, and be done. I think he cares. I think he likes being a race car driver. I just don't think that the media is his strong suit.
No, I totally agree with that. And Captain Keith, thank you for stopping by. We
And
appreciate it.
I say that because I watch a lot of clips with you that he's in. I see a lot of stuff on social media, and it's like hit or miss on his personality. Like sometimes he sounds great, very enthusiastic, well, moderately enthusiastic for Chase Elliott. And other times he sounds like he doesn't give a shit, and I solely think it's just a media thing.
I think it's like that too. Um,
Like in my case,
Now, when we were at Richmond, we got to see Chase Elliott and Austin Dillon, which that line was much shorter, and Kyle Larson signing autographs. And in my opinion, I get not liking the media stuff. I would probably be the same, not liking the media stuff. Now, I mean, that's crazy because I put myself out there on the internet 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
Um, but
I get myself not liking the media stuff.
I get, oh, look, I like talking shit. It's one of my favorite things to do. That's why I'm here.
I will say,
Getting
I
picked
will
up on
say,
that yet.
going back to
we saw them at Richmond. You know, we were standing there. You were purchasing something at the Kyle Larson hauler while he was signing autographs, and I told you could have just been a bad day. I know he's had a rough time lately. He seemed drier than hell.
Kyle Larson, I have not told this story yet, but we had, so what's up, man? Hey, good to see you, buddy. We're just I've started a new segment here. We're talking. It's called "Shit Happening in NASCAR." That's the name of the segment, and we're just kind of in the middle of that. Uh-oh, we got an natty can attack. But so Richmond weekend did not exactly go as planned in the sense of how we had planned it to start with. So we were Saturday. We were going to explore downtown Richmond and then go to the racetrack. We ended up doing that Friday night and did not end up exploring downtown Richmond Saturday. Instead, we went to Walmart, bought a tent, got a picnic box from Bojangles, and we went tailgating, which is what we're going to do at Darlington. If any of y'all are going to Darlington, please let me know. Would love to have all y'all stop by our little tailgate set up. We're going to be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs. Y'all come on, check us out if you're going to be at Darlington. But anyways, I digress. I wanted to get a flag to hang in my tent. So I went and bought a Kyle Larson flag. Since I got a Chase Elliott championship flag on the wall behind me. Y'all can't see it. One day I'm going to do, a room tour here. And I've got some really neat stuff in my collection. But we ended up buying the flag right beside where Larson was signing his autographs. And he acted whole body language like he was downright fucking miserable to be there. Now, Larson gives a great interview, and he qualified terribly, ended up coming out 6th in the race. But his body language, his demeanor, and people were asking him questions. What stood out the most to me, and word for word, "Hey Larson, what do you like running better, the dirt stuff or the cup stuff?" "I like it both, buddy."
He didn't even say buddy. He just said I like both.
Said I like both and kept his head down the whole time signing autographs. Didn't even look up and smile at the camera. So that's kind of my issue with that. If you're going to go out there for an autograph session that people are paying $100 a wristband for, act like you're fucking happy to be there. It's not that hard.
And I will say, we talk about Chase not having any personality, and I agree, he does lack some. But while you were purchasing your flag, I was simultaneously watching both Larson and Chase Elliott. Haulers right beside each other. They were doing it at the same time. And he seemed a little more active, a little happier to be there. Um, but that's just my opinion.
I want to find out if Hocevar's doing an autograph session um in Darlington, because I would love to get his autograph. I would also love to get Austin Dillon's autograph, because now I've seen him win. Kind of have to. If Denny Hamlin's doing an autograph session, I would like to burn down the Toyota trailer. $100 isn't a lot for most fans. $100 is a lot for any American. I don't care what your tax bracket is. $100, $100. So that's a lot of money. It was either $100 or you had to buy a die cast.
Which was how much?
100 or 85 or more.
Okay, yeah.
And their 124 die cast selection fucking sucks. I'm sorry. The 124 diecast selection they have in those NASCAR haulers fucking suck. We can
I
do
don't
better.
like the merch.
The merch in the NASCAR trailer sucks.
The driver's websites has more options, better
Right.
options.
But for the fans that are watching from home buying online, in my opinion, are a different class of fan than that's going to the track buying merch. I like track merch. There's some cool stuff there. Like the lightweight polyester shirts. I'm probably going to get another one of those when we go to Darlington. What we'll probably do is get there. I might go get another polyester shirt. If they've changed, which I doubt they've changed anything. And go racing. Or go tailgating. One of the two. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we cross that bridge. But I just wanted to add that to the segment. We're going to go back to the regular schedule programming now.